I'll just remind members you don't cross the floor of the chamber when it's still in session. The gentleman has left, but I will remind him, but just in case anybody had an idea to copy him, they needn't bother. Right. The next item of business is a members' business debate on motion 4086 in the name of Alexander Stewart on the I couldn't resist it, Mr. Stewart. You're too keen. You're getting your space. On the Safe Drive, Stay Alive project, this debate will be concluded without any question being put. Will those members who wish to speak in the debate press the request to speak buttons now? And now I call on Alexander Stewart to open the debate, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. Delighted to have this opportunity of securing this members' business debate this evening. And I'm also extremely grateful for the cross-party support my motion has received on Safe Drive, Stay Alive project. It gives us the opportunity in this chamber this evening to recognise the wonderful work that's taken place, but also to look at the challenges that are currently facing the projects as it goes forward. I'm delighted that some of those involved with the project have been able to join us in the gallery for the debate this evening. And I'd like to acknowledge the attendance of Melanie Mitchell, who is the local community champion for Tesco's in Alloa, and Alan Fords, who is the local area liaison officer for Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. In addition, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank, in particular, my Mid-Scotland and Fife colleagues, Mark Russell, Alex Rowley, Clackmannan and Dunblaine's MSP, Keith Brown, and Ian Smith of the Alloa Advertiser, who have all been actively supportive and campaigning as we've gone forward and have been involved in a petition for the cause itself. Like its counterparts throughout Scotland and the rest of the UK, the Safe Drive, Stay Alive project in the region aims to educate teenagers and young adults about the potential severity of the consequences of risky, reckless and dangerous driving. And that has attracted around 40,000 youngsters, Deputy Presiding Officer, over the last 11 years. I first attended one of these events back in Forfar when I was a member of Tayside's Joint Police Board. And I must admit, Deputy Presiding Officer, after leaving the event, feeling really quite in shock. It was a very harrowing experience, and it had a very punchy, hard-hitting answer to the whole process. The hard-hitting nature of the project is, I believe, what makes it so effective. Each event has contributions from many people affected by a car accident. For some, like the emergency services, the implications of dangerous driving are something that they have to too often have to deal with, and their life-saving work is sometimes what we should all commend and be grateful for. The participation of individuals who've been involved in an accident or lost someone close to them is very much part played in the way when they're dealing with the situation on stage. And a car accident can have a life-changing situation for someone, and it turns their world upside down. The inclusion of real people recounting real experiences of severe injury or loss really makes the young people who are attending these events think about the potential consequences of their reckless driving. The success of the Stay Drive, Stay Alive project since its introduction in Scotland in 2006 has been a real success. Back in 2006 to 2008, the average of 11 people who died between the ages of 16 and 25 in driving accidents. And in 2014-15, the figure had staggeringly dropped to 0, none, nil. This is an outstanding achievement and highlights the importance of ensuring that future young people ensure that the experience of driving is something they take away with them. Organising an event of this nature, Deputy Presiding Officer, costs money. We recognise that. And the regional campaign has a budget of about 23,000 to put on the event. And in the past, they had received funding from the 3 local authorities in the former Central Region Council areas. This funding is now in jeopardy, and there have been some discussions about how we progress it forward when councils are looking at budgets and reducing some of that input. It is also the first time that we've seen Safe Drive, Stay Alive projects brought into doubt. And I had some experience of that, Deputy Presiding Officer, back in Perth and Kinross, when we found that it was struggling to find funds and also a place for it to be performed and survive. And as a member of the Community Safety Committee and the Community Planning Partnership, I was instrumental in helping to find an alternative venue that was less expensive to ensure that we could involve and become part of that project. I recently found out from Stirling Council that they are very supportive of this project and will continue to provide funding, and that I really do welcome. They are putting their money where their mouth is. And at a budget meeting in Falkirk last week, Councillor Rubber stamped the cost towards running a week-long safety awareness campaign. The Council has always valued the event as a real, tangible show of young people and the dangers that they face across the community. But we do have issues, Deputy Presiding Officer, when it comes to Clackmannanshire Council, which has had a few of its own turbulent troubles in recent times. So we have to keep a watchful eye on what's happening across that council area, because we need to ensure that they can also complete and fit the jigsaw. I hope that today's debate helps to highlight the importance of these projects and the lives of our young people. It is absolutely essential that we do all work together across this chamber to ensure that the important project and the opportunities that the project gives to young people are continued across the region that I represent, but also across Scotland. We must do all we can, Deputy Presiding Officer, to maintain, to sustain and retain this invaluable lesson in road safety. In conclusion, I pay tribute to all who have attended, supported, participated and funded this life-saving project, and all the families who have suffered the loss of a loved one, or whose loved one has suffered life-changing injuries. I offer my heartfelt condolences to them. Deputy Presiding Officer, working together, we can achieve much more, and I look forward to seeing this outstanding project continuing for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I call, it's the open debate. Speeches of 4 minutes, please. David Torrance, to be followed by Liam Kerr. Mr Torrance, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I would like to thank Alexander Stewart for securing this debate in Chamber today, aimed at preserving this important and effective educational programme, Safe Drive, Stay Alive. I want to take a few minutes to tell you about the aforementioned programme, the Safe Drive, Stay Alive Road Safety Initiative, which is essential to Fife's efforts to reduce traffic-related fatalities and educate young people about road safety in my constituency of Kirkcaldy. The Safe Drive Stay Alive project is an annual community roadshow that delivers thought-provoking messages to thousands of young drivers by demonstrating in realistic terms the lethal consequences should they fail to understand and accept their responsibilities when getting behind the wheel. In my constituency, the show runs 1 week annually in late autumn at the Office Halls Theatre. Its impact, however, spans far beyond that of your average theatre performance. In the show, members of emergency services share stories of horrific traffic accidents and suggest how they might have been prevented. Victims of debilitating road-related injuries speak about how their lives changed in an instant after just a few moments of carelessness. Bereaved individuals share their loss and implore students to think about their actions behind the wheel. Young people are provided with a framework of safe driving, and experts share tips on about how to be aware on the road. Road safety awareness can be a tricky subject to navigate in an educational setting. Safe Drive, Stay Alive does a tremendous job of balancing the tragic nature of road-related collisions with what can be done to prevent them. After seeing the physical and emotional damage that is done by road-related collisions, students depart the event feeling the harrowing effects of dangerous driving and are committed to preventing reckless driving. Central Safe Drive team marked its 10th year and 100th show in Stirling this month. Since its founding by Central Safe Drive, over 40,000 school pupils from across Forth Valley have seen the show. The results speak for themselves. This expertly crafted event has contributed to a decrease of 43% in Fife road casualties since 2006. In 2006, there were 1,056 road-related injuries, and in 2012, there were 549. The same time period, there has been a 65% decrease in fatality. In 2006, there were 20. In 2012, there were 7. This downward trend in fatalities and accidents has continued across Fife up until 2015. Aside from a reduction in bereaved and grieving families, the reduction in road collision injuries and deaths has resulted in a lower demand for emergency services and money spent dealing with road traffic casualties. The Safe Drive, Stay Alive has contributed to financial savings in the region of 45 million. For its Tangible impact and extraordinary production, the Safe Drive Stay Alive project won the most effective road safety traffic management and enforcement project at the 2012 Scottish Transport Awards. Last year saw Safe Drive Stay Alive Central win a prestigious emergency service special award from Central FM for its contribution in reducing the road casualty numbers within 16 and 25-year-olds. The show has been adopted by other community safety partnerships throughout Scotland and the United Kingdom. It's supported overwhelmingly by the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. Extremely robust external evaluations of Safe Drive Stay Alive were undertaken in 2011 and 2012 by NHS Fife, and these evaluations identified an immediate change in attitude for attendees about safe driving. The 2011 evaluation, completed by 538 attendees, demonstrated a decrease in speeding and an increase in seatbelt use, with almost 85% reporting that they always wear a seatbelt. This amazing approach to road safety education and accessible and especially engineered programme, which will provide effective in its aims to reduce traffic-related injury and death, will be eliminated without some kind of aid. A petition circulating Central Scotland now has many signatures, including many members of the Scottish Parliament from many different parties, calling on the programme's continuation. If the programme is not supported, thousands of pupils will lose the opportunity to learn vital road safety lessons, and our roads will suffer. I acknowledge and praise the work of Safe Drive Stay Alive has done in my constituency and beyond. It is imperative we maintain this project for its potential to make a difference in my constituency and across the wider Scotland. It is up to us to ensure that Safe Drive Stay Alive gets the resources it needs to continue serving our constituencies. In conclusion, Presiding Officer,
I was just thinking
I would
that.
like
You
to
never
once
look
again
up,
thank
you never
Alexander
look at the
Stewart for
clock.
securing this debate, and also give thanks to all those who supported this motion and continue to support the amazing work of Safe Drive Stay Alive.
It's not the way to do it, because I'll stop you anyway, even if you don't look up. Liam Kerr, please, to be followed by Alec Rowley. Mr Kerr, please.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. And firstly, let me also start by congratulating my colleague Alexander Stewart on securing the members' debate. I'm particularly pleased to speak in this debate because just over 31 years ago, at around 9:30 in the evening, I was standing, shivering in the icy darkness at the side of the A702 near Biggar with, you don't need to know the details, but you can all see the scar running the full length of my forehead, following a terrible head-on car accident. So any project which educates any driver, let alone teenagers and young adults, on complacency, recklessness or dangerous activity behind the wheel, and of course the outcomes and impacts of that behaviour, must be supported in my view. In Scotland we have a very noticeable and persistent problem of young drivers being involved in a high proportion